Hello, my loves. This is Carrie Hamilton with Bottoms Up, Life Unfiltered. Success isn't magic, it's chemistry. When you train your brain to crave consistency over comfort, your goals stop feeling impossible and start feeling inevitable. Welcome to today's episode, where we talk about rewiring the mind so that your future finally catches up to your vision. Hello, my loves. Let's talk about these 2026 resolutions and goals that we have for ourselves. How are they working for you? Well, as you know, I am a coach of truth and authenticity, so I am going to lay this on you. If you did not prepare yourself mentally and only prepared yourself physically, the odds of your goals actually being successful are very, very, very slim. Now, let me explain. We often look at ourselves and let's say our goal was weight loss, or our goal was to get out of a toxic situation, maybe a toxic marriage or relationship, something in that nature. We always tend to go to our feelings, the physical part first. So obviously if I look in the mirror and I'm feeling fatter or I feel gross or whatever, my goal is going to be, oh my God, I got to get to the gym this year, no excuses. I got to get in there and lose weight. Let me look up supplements. Let me look up different, workout techniques that are going to help me. And, I'm going to do this. And then let's say it's a toxic marriage or a toxic relationship. I'm sick of feeling this way. They treat me like crap. They're always abusing me. They're calling me names. They're doing this, doing that. I'm going to go with that whole no contact stuff and I'm going to just get out of there and I'm going to leave. Well, the problem is, your mind controls everything in your body. So if it's something physical, your physical self will follow anything that your mind tells you, but your mind will not follow anything physical. Did I say that right? Maybe. Okay. So where I'm going with this, I'm not sure if I said that right, but for instance, if you are hammering a nail every day, right? And then tomorrow you go to saw wood instead of hammer the nail or hammer the wood with the nail. Your body will say, okay, it'll just adjust to it. It's not going to just not work and you're not going to be able to not saw something because you were hammering a nail yesterday. Where the mind, let's say you tell the mind, hey, I have to I have to hammer a nail for 3 days straight and now it's the second day and you go to saw something, your mind's going to say, hold on a second. Today's only day 2, not day 3. We're supposed to be hammering the nail again today, not the saw. So your mind is always going to follow a safe route to keep you safe. And how it knows what safety is whatever you do in a consistent manner or whatever you do in a habitual manner. Even if it's harmful and not healthy, it will still think that that is safety. So if you do not train your mind first to know that you're going to go to the gym, your body's going to hurt, because obviously, as we know, suffrage equals success. Nothing in life is successful unless you suffer through it, right? So if you do that and you train your mind to know that when it gets hard, when the suffering goes, you have to still work through it. You're coaching your mind to keep consistent and you push through the suffrage, you then will be successful. However, if you don't, then your body, when it starts to hurt and the muscles are sore, and that's when you want to quit because now it's actually painful, you're going through suffrage, your body is going to tell your mind, I can't do this is hard, my body's sore, I can't move today, I did too much of this workout or whatever. If the mind isn't focused and trained to say, no, keep consistent, you trained your mind to keep pushing even through the suffrage, then you're going to give up. You're going to talk yourself out of it because you didn't train your mind to be strong enough to follow the body, to push the body to move forward. Same thing in a toxic relationship. If your body knows that one day it's being love bombed and it's, you're going through the dopamine and the next day you're going through the adrenaline through the abuse and the cortisol and your mind is, fighting back. When you are taken out of that situation, you are going to crave that abuse back when it's not around because your mind is thinking that that is safety. Even though it's a harmful situation, you didn't train your mind to say, stay away, this is for the better, you're staying 3 weeks away from them, whatever it is that forever, we're going with no contact, we're doing this, we're doing that, whatever it is that you have to do to train your mind to get out of that situation, your mind has to be trained before your body, because otherwise the mind will push the body back into regular schedule and regular consistency of what it knows, because that's what it thinks that safety is, even if it's a harmful situation. Once you push your body and your mind in a habitual, consistent manner, eventually the mind will reprogram itself to know that as safety and that as a regular pattern. That is why when it gets hard, that is the most crucial part that you have to consistently push yourself through, because the mind then will remember what feels right and what feels wrong, especially during situations that are harder than others, because now it's reprogramming that as the new safety. That is why, have you ever seen someone that goes to the gym like on the regular, and when they skip a day, they're like, God, I feel like crap? That's why, because their body is saying, where's the adrenaline? How come you're not running? My heart's not beating fast enough, or whatever it is that they do for a workout. So the body feels crappy. This is the same thing that equals like one who doesn't go to the gym, who goes to the gym all the time, and now they're not working out and they feel like crap. It's the same thing like being abused and being in an abusive relationship. When you don't have that abuse, you feel like crap. I know it sounds crazy to talk like that or even assume that way, but it's true, because at the gym, you have the adrenaline pumping and the cortisol, you're pushing your body to work out in a certain way. It's the same thing. You have adrenaline, you have cortisol going through when you're, in your abusive situation. So your body feels crappy. It's literally like a withdrawal when it doesn't have its normal consistency. And like I said, the mind doesn't know what's healthy and what is, harmful. It just knows consistency is normal pattern, and that's how it tells itself it's safe, whether it's a harmful or helpful situation or healthy situation, irregardless. Well, I'm sure you're thinking, well, how do I fix this? Because obviously going to the gym one day and going not another day, that's still a healthy thing to do as far as, going to the gym or not going to the gym versus abuse. Obviously, if you are trying to leave an abusive relationship or marriage, clearly you don't want to go back to that. You're trying to go on the healthy side, not the harmful side of life. Well, if that's the case, and in situations like these, you have to offset that chemical imbalance with something healthy. So for instance, the abuse, it's the adrenaline, it's the cortisol. And so while you're withdrawing from them and you're missing that, that is exactly what you'll want to do. You'll want to go to the gym. You'll want to replace that adrenaline with something healthy. Like you want to go on a run, go outside, things like that. Even dopamine, get some sun, go to the beach, go anywhere that you could ground yourself outside in, natural habitats, things like that. Whatever the withdrawal is that you are doing to remove yourself that's harmful, you'll want to replace it with obviously a healthy version of that, chemical level, so that way your brain can offset. If you have to see a therapist and get, prescription drugs to help you, do it. It doesn't have to be forever. This is why people go on antidepressants. When you lose someone, that's grief. It's a huge, heavy hit of love that is taken away from you. So people go on antidepressants because that gives the dopamine level, the chemical level, from the loss of the person that they loved. It's the same circumstance. Like you are going through a withdrawal from an addiction that you once had. That's why people get addicted to going to the gym. It's adrenaline, it's consistency. People get addicted to abuse because it's the adrenaline, it's the consistency. You have to make sure that you offset that chemical imbalance. Otherwise, you will consistently go back, and it's all in the mind. You have to train your mind to seek healthy versions of what you're omitting that is harmful, and then stay consistent with it. Consistency is key. Repetition is key. That is where things will become a normal pattern and safety, and your mind will eventually form into its new habitual way and safe way of whatever the situation is that you're in, and keeping your goals and keeping your success and so forth. It's all in the mind, and the body will follow anything that you tell the mind to do. These next few moments, I am showing slides on how to offset chemical imbalances in your brain. If you are listening to this on audio, you will not be able to see this section of the video. If you are obviously watching on video, you will be able to see this. But basically, it is just stating ways that you can offset dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and cortisol levels by doing different tasks, such as like listening to music, petting animals, sun, nature, supplements, working out, your diet, hydrating, things in that nature. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Remember, nothing changes overnight, but everything changes with repetition. The brain learns what you teach it, and today you planted something new. Keep showing up even when it gets uncomfortable. Especially because when consistency becomes your craving, success becomes inevitable. Thank you so much for joining today. Don't forget to like, share, or comment, or even share this with somebody that you think will benefit from it. See you soon, and much love.